No. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is MMA AM. It's half morning show, half mixed martial arts show, pretty much all bullshit. I'm your host LK from Kocosports.net. That's Koco Sports.net. It's where the world goes to kick ass for combat sports, and above all, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. I'm LK, as said earlier, joined by Blake from the Loaded Joe's MMA podcast. Blake, how you doing this fine evening/morning?
No, I'm doing good, man. LK, can you see me? Okay, over
I
your
can
side?
see. I can see.
Okay. I'll just making sure, man. Yeah, brother, doing good. Just MMA and stuff. Yeah, man. Just another week of some MMA shit, man. I'm ready for it.
That Red Bull, you're tempting me now. You're tempting me. I've been really good. I've been really good, and I've been listening to the Loudmouth MMA show, and they're both involved in this little weight loss type gimmick.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've been like, I'm not losing weight. I don't want to lose weight, but I want to step up my game. I want to eat a bit more healthily. So instead of an energy drink, I've got a nice flask of tea. I'm English, so I should have tea.
There you
Nice
go.
bit of tea instead of my energy drinks. So don't tempt me over there. You're getting me like a little bit razzled because there is one there is one over there, and I haven't opened it yet, but it is over there, and it's scaring me a little bit. But what were your thoughts of UFC Halifax this past Sunday?
I was super happy with the card, man. I really only watched the last 3 out of the last 4 fights because I was just so depressed over the weekend from Fedor not fighting because he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. And I'm very emotional. I'm a very emotional MMA fan, to say the very fucking least. And when I found out he wasn't fighting, I'm like, fuck MMA this weekend. And then I ended up catching like the last 4 fights from Elias Theodoro. I didn't do the Sam Cecilia one because I didn't realize. I regret not watching that one live because Gavin Tucker is a fucking amazing. Like he is the new Dominic Cruz type esque fighter of 145. And then I saw Johnny Hendricks, and then I saw the Black Beast fight. So I was happy with the card though. I went back to go watch a lot of the fights. I was just very, very happy coming off of 208 with this card, man.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed this a lot more than the pay-per-view. And so you American bastards had to pay $60 for that. Oh, I just felt bad. And I went in, and the week leading up, everyone's like, yeah, it won't be that good, but it could be good. But I was just happy it was really good. I was thoroughly entertained. And my fight of the night, it was tough. I really enjoyed the what we got here. I really enjoyed the Tucker fight. But the main event was fun. That was like my first proper heavyweight slugfest. They went out there and had a slobber knocker. They really beat the shit out of
That's
each
right.
other.
Yeah,
It
man.
was really damn good.
They didn't give no fucks that fight, man. I was really happy with that fight, and it was funny up until that fight. I was really I was all pro Black Beast. I'm like, Black Beast can do it. Travis Browne is not there, and he really went out and man, we've got a nice mouthpiece at the heavyweight division that the nice young blood they've been looking for. You know what I'm saying?
But with that in mind, do you think his comments were a bit silly to do on live international television?
No, not at all, man. Like he talks like somebody I know from Houston. Like this is how people like the type of people he is. Like that's like people I know from like where he's from in Houston. Like that's how they talk. Like no fucks given. Like they talk like just like they say whatever they want on their mind. And that's what Derrick does. Like he's like, I gotta go boo boo. I'm gonna beat up Travis Browne because he beats up on women. Where Ronda Rousey fine ass at? Like that's some shit that like, he would say. Like he's not. I don't think he's being anything different than who he is. I just think he's feeling a lot more comfortable in the UFC cage and speaking. Because if you follow him on social media, the dude is a Black Beast, man. Like he's dropping like all kind of funny memes. He's savage. It's like savage comedy. Like everything he does, it's hilarious. And so I'm glad that we see him just be this mouthpiece, like I said, of the heavyweight division. This is something that they don't have that can really kind of spark some interest. I mean, it's already nice seeing people get knocked out, yeah, but Why not just say some funny shit? It'll build. It won't hurt.
Right. Think of UFC as a business. They'll want advertisers come in to advertise in between the fights. Would you think that a lot of that being said, where is Ronda Rousey's fine ass at, and after him saying all the sex I've been getting, I need the time off, like things like that? Do you think that could, one day prevent them from being a multi-billion-dollar company from just being a billion-dollar company because of that type of thing? Like, if you got that out of the way, if you said, look, fighters, go out there, you can talk, but don't fucking talk like that. If you want to talk like that, go on these podcasts, but don't do that here.
But that's not fair. That's kind of not fair to point him out, and then you got.
Oh no! I meant in general.
Okay.
It was just he said it recently, so I'm saying in general, like the McGregor. And I understand he gets eyeballs, but then the eyeballs that are coming in, they could make more money from advertisers. But if you're a company, like, you could be any company, you could be Pepsi. You could be Pepsi. Okay, and you could be thinking, oh, you know what? I'd love to sponsor UFC. What was that last fight night? Okay, I'll give it a watch. Oh, okay, all the sex I've been getting, I need the time off. Okay, our brand will stay away from you. I understand, but you'll be fine with Budweiser and Beck's Light, but there's so much money to be made out there. That's why the WWE, as we turn upside down, McMahon Marketing Enterprise, went PG. There's no cursing. They're still fighting. They get sponsored by KFC. They get sponsored by McDonald's, by Pepsi, by Snickers. All that ad revenue rolling in, which UFC are throwing away because their fighters are going out there and saying things like that.
I mean, that's going to be an evolution of the sport that's going to happen. That's not now. Like, this is the age we're in now. We're in the age where Conor McGregor's saying it's red panty night. We're in the age of, Black B saying he's too much fighting and too much sex. I mean, we're just in that age. Could they be there one day? Yeah, well, let's wait for these fighters to go out, and then you can train a new batch of fighters to say whatever the fuck it is you want them to say. But I think, like, as somebody who says what the fuck they want, I wouldn't even be. It would be so out of character for me to be like, nah, don't let them say what the fuck they want. Like, let's get them the sponsors right. Maybe they won't get Snickers and, all that good stuff, but maybe we'll get them some other sponsors. I'm sorry, man. My phone's about to die. Where's my charger? But yeah, I mean, maybe we'll get them the, some others. You're right, like Budweiser's and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Like, should they have said what they said? I mean, should Derrick have said what he said? Maybe not, but he said it. So now you've got to either use it as an angle, or if you're going to hide it, then it's going to look really suspicious. Like they've removed some of the stuff out of the highlights of his post-fight interview. And that looks really like, that looks really just fucking suspicious all over. Like that's not a good look to the UFC, because all the fans are like, well, where's the funny comments that he said? Like, I'm trying to look it up, So I don't know, man. I'm
not saying remove it. I'm not saying remove it. I'm saying that in the future, tell these guys, look, you can go out there and you can, cut the promo, go out there and say, look, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. But don't talk about sex and the wife's ass and talk about stuff like that. You can go out there and, say, look, you could say, I slept with her, but not saying, oh, yeah, I've had sex, so I'm getting time off. There's a way of doing it that's the politically correct. Now, I come in here and like yourself, and I just talk shit. Like, I don't give, if they like it, they like it. If they don't like it, then that's tough shit. Like, I remember in December, it was about December the 20th, I came on here and said, I hate this person, that being Zack Ryder, so much, I wish him injury. Me and my co-host then went on to the website, and it got breaking news: Zack Ryder is injured. Okay, now, we did make a video saying the news story saying he's injured, and we apologize for the stuff we said. Like, we shouldn't have said it, it's unprofessional, but I still fucking said it. Like, yes, he's a piece of shit, and if he never stepped foot in a wrestling ring again, I'd be happy, because he's just a piece of shit. But I think that when you're on international, like if I was on international television right now, there is no way I'd say that. I would not say fuck. I would not say bullshit. I would not say bollocks, because it's national television. I'm thinking to myself, wait, more sponsors means more money. The more sponsors you get means the more sponsors the fighters get. If you look at it like that.
Yeah, but they're not getting, like, they're not worried about sponsors because the only sponsor is like, that's the last thing on their mind. Thing is, they can't get other sponsors. Like, fighters right now, like, their mindset is we can't get other sponsors. Even when they had other sponsors, their sponsors knew what they were getting into, so they're gonna say whatever the fuck they want to say, anyways. So I mean, if I'm a fighter and my only sponsor is Reebok, and I have no recourse, the UFC is not going to do anything. I'm not going to get talked in the back and say, hey, you can't say this because we can't get it. You're not going to be able to get these other sponsors. I wasn't able to get the other sponsors in this. That's the last thing on my mind. So I'm still going to say whatever the fuck I want to say. Like, I'm just thinking kind of like what the mindset would be if I were to say, you know, what Derrick said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. And I don't know, maybe I've just been brainwashed by McMahon. But that might be the case. That might be the case. I've just been brainwashed.
I think it has.
God, that'll wear off from me. Jesus Christ. What was I going to touch on next? That was it. Before we get on to actually breaking down the card, well, we'll break down the main bits of the card worth talking about. On the channel, me and another co-host, we have wives. For example, he has a wrestling wife, and she's called Sexy Star. I have a wrestling wife. She's called Peyton Roy. She's this beautiful Australian girl. My mixed martial arts internet wife is Sarah McMahon. Okay, that is my MMA internet wife. There you go. So So if Peyton Royce and Sarah McMahon ever meet up, please someone call me because I need to fly to America very soon. So, with that in mind, who would you have if you could have your own mixed martial arts fighter be your wife? Which one would you pick?
I think I told you this last time. It's going to be Alexa Grasso. She's my internet wife. She's my wife in my head. She's my MMA wife. She's my celebrity wife. She covers everything. She's my bodyguard. She's Mexican and I love her. And yeah, so I'm telling you, she's listening out there. Alexa, holler at Loaded Joe's MMA Podcast. I'm not hard to find. Come in the chat. Just, say hello, whatever, But yes, man, that is my everything outside of real life wife.
Yeah, just pray your real life wife doesn't listen to the show rather than her. This is great. Oh God. There's so many, like, I pray that what I know in my luck, it will be like, right now will be the only time my girlfriend listens to the show, and it'll be like, for fuck's sake, fucking knew I shouldn't have talked about it. Anyway, so we'll do the main show. We had Paul Felder versus Alessandro Ricci. Felder won by unanimous decision after the big elbow and a big knee knocks him down, and the referee stops the fight. Post-fight, he goes, I'm too happy to call anyone out. I wanted to get this microphone and just keep smashing my head against it. That's the complete opposite of what Derrick Lewis did in the bad way. Now, I don't know if this happens all the time, but if that's me and I'm Felder, and surely I'm going to call someone out for the top 15 because then you're guaranteed another spot because, okay, I heard you talk about him, so we could put him versus him. Like, he's not doing the top 50, say ranked number 15. Oh, he's not doing anything in 3 months. We'll book that. Like, I don't know why these fighters don't do that.
Yeah, a lot of them don't. And you give them the mic even on a podcast, and they won't do it for some reason. They're just like, I'm not the kind of guy to call people out. And here's what I'll say, too. Another reason why Derrick, and I think it all kind of falls in the realm of what Paul Felder didn't do. If you're just a guy that goes out there and says nice things, nobody gives a fuck. You have to say mean things or say how you feel, And if it's not so nice against another person, that usually makes headlines, and people usually bat an eye or two at that. But you'll get a lot if you say just nothing but nice things like my opponent was great, I'm great, this other guy's great, I don't want to call anybody out, I wish so-and-so well. Like, nobody gives a fuck about that. Like, that's not going to draw any attention. So, again, you're not drawing any sponsors that way. So, I think, again, this is the realm that we're talking about. Paul Felder should have been a little bit more edgy. I think every single fighter should be more edgy when they're given an opportunity to talk. And Paul Felder's in a great position because there's all this, like, hype behind him. And he loses some of these big fights. He wins this one. He was supposed to win this one. But yeah, like he should take the mic and say, I want to fight top 15 guy, you know, number 12, 13. I don't care who it is. I want to fight that guy. And then we find out, you know, later on who the hell it is. But that's what should be going on. It's not, you know.
That'll change. That'll change when the fighters wake up and realize that they can get themselves fights. They can get themselves fights by talking. They can talk their way into a fight if they really want to. Anyone could talk themselves into any fight if they want to, give or take.
It's not hard. It's not hard to tell. Like, they all know that it can happen. They're mad at Conor. Like, a lot of fighters are mad at Conor McGregor for doing it, but yet they won't do it themselves. Or, oh, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to copy him. I don't want to talk shit. You're like, you don't have to talk shit. You don't have to do that. Just call out who you want to fight. Like, I'm sure if you were to talk to your coaches, they could find you 3 or 4 guys that you match up really well with and have a really good chance at beating, and they might even be in the top 10. So this is something, again, I think we're both agreeing, like, they're not taking advantage of. They really should. They really can do it. They're aware they can do it. They're just not doing it. You know, I don't know what the reason is. I don't know. Maybe they're born with some people are born with a specific gene to do it than others. I don't know. I'm not a Scientologist. I'm just saying, like, they should be doing it. They're aware they can do it, and they're still not doing it.
It's just they will realize it, and then it's too little, too late, isn't it? That's all we can say. And then we had Gina Mazzani versus my internet wife Sarah McMahon. Mazzani didn't make the weight, so she loses 20% of her purse to McMahon. So McMahon, you're paying on our date. that's how it's going to work with Mazzani's money. So round 1, just McMahon arm triangle, get the submission victory. Now, I wrote down on my notes, good sportsmanship after the fight. She said, it's okay, I had 3 months to pay, you had 2 weeks. Now, if I'm right, people on Twitter have been saying she's been disrespectful. If I'm right.
Right. I don't know. I didn't never check.
I mean, on social media, are people complaining? Because I remember listening to one show. I can't remember what show it was, but they were talking about how people think it was being disrespectful of her being, you know, different. Maybe it was a different fight, but that's all that's ringing through my brain whenever I look at this fight, that she was being disrespectful. Because I know for a fact I wrote good sportsmanship on my notes here.
I don't know. I've never known Sarah McMahon, like in the interview she's done, or on social media, to be like that.
I mean degrading, like kind of a bit degrading, like being degrading, like, you know, I had 3 months to pay, you only had 2 weeks kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe it was a different fight altogether. Because I know I was listening to one show and it was combining the Bellator show on Saturday and Sunday. So maybe that was a show from Bellator. I might have just got wrong. But
maybe
McMahon after said she wants a title fight. So good job there. She's obviously listening to her internet husband, so she realizes that she needs to go out there and say, "Look, I want a title fight." That's what she said. She didn't come across horrible or mean. She just said,
"You don't have to.
You don't. There is ways." She just goes, "You know what? I just want a title fight." No, maybe someone in the top 5. Well, I'm guessing maybe with the UFC new rankings, maybe she moved up. That's a possibility.
Possibly, yeah. I'm guessing. I mean, what does this fight really do? Because she was supposed to fight Liz Carmouche, who would have helped her maybe move up or something. But this girl right here that she fought is like a late replacement. So, I mean, unless somebody beneath her, above her lost, to me, she wouldn't move up. She'd just stay where she's at. She didn't beat anybody above her, but she didn't lose to anybody beneath her. So.
It's how she won it, though, because she won it so quickly, wasn't it?
I mean, that's cool. It's cool to beat somebody off the street, but, like, what about somebody that's ranked? You know, like, to me, like, if you're not fighting somebody that's ranked, you can't, you can't go up or down. You just stay where you're at.
She did go up. She went up. She was ranked 7th. And now, excuse me, she's ranked 6th now. Oh,
well, see, that's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. I mean, it depends on how the rankings are, who's above her, who's below her. Somebody lost or didn't lose or whatever the hell. They're shifting shit with the featherweight, so it could happen.
It happens. And then we have Elias Theodoro versus Cesar Ferreira in the middleweight. It went 3 rounds. I was disappointed because I thought that Theodoro was this big thing, and he didn't win convincingly. He just won by decision. His hair, I watched the pre-match conference, and that guy is set for life. That man's hair.
Man.
He's set for life. He needs to be doing head and shoulder. If someone in the UK is watching, he needs to be on a head and shoulders advert. That's how good he is. But he won by unanimous decision. It was okay. And then he says Dean someone, because I couldn't type the second name, so I wasn't listening properly, sent a Twitter message to him saying if his name was said on the show, he would get a tattoo on his face of his hair. So someone right now, obviously if the word is the one, has a tattoo on their face of their hair. That's ridiculous. Absolutely. What were your thoughts on this fight?
I'm a huge Elias Theodoro fan just because me and Elias had the best hair in the game, of the MMA game. Mine's not as long, but look, it's got really good volume. And if Per Plus want to sponsor me too, just like Elias Theodoro, I'm okay with that. But yeah, he's sponsored by Per Plus, hair shampoo people here in America. So shout outs to them. But Elias Theodoro did Elias Theodoro. Like, he got a decision win in Canada by out-voluming another guy. Like, okay, that's Elias Theodoro. Like, that's what he does. He might get in a tricky position. You might, hit him with something that might look like it rocked him. You might get his back. You might get him on a weird position on the ground, a compromising position on the ground. That's okay, because his jiu-jitsu is really fucking good. He's trained with Nogueira brothers in Brazil. He goes around and trains with people if he finds a hole in his game. I mean, to me, it was an Elias Theodoro fight because Cesar Ferreira didn't do shit. Cesar Ferreira, if you look at the stats, only landed 11 punches this whole fight. 9 of them were in the first round. So you can't win a fight, to me, by landing 11 punches, 9 of them in the first round, 1 in each of the additional rounds. Like that, I get it. Like, Elias didn't do much, but Cesar Ferreira did even less. Yeah, he had his back for a couple seconds, but Elias Theodoro got out. Elias was voluming, getting him on the clinch on the feet. Like, it was an Elias Theodoro fight, and I get it, man. There's some people at UFC sometimes try to build up hype around Elias, and if he gets the right wins, great, but with things like this, kind of like, why is there so much hype behind him? But I like Elias. I like Elias, man. Me and him, we got good hair, so that's why I gotta like him.
Jesus, doesn't take a lot for you to like someone, does it? Jeez.
I gotta find. Wait, I gotta find for me, I didn't like him because he beat my friend Roger Narvaez in UFC, and I didn't like him for a little bit. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I can't. I'm sometimes vain. I'm just like, man, I can't hate a guy who's got great hair like that, man. I just. Would somebody hate me if I had bad hair and I was in UFC? I'm like, nope. So let me just, I'm gonna like him because of that. So
now I've been told, Mr. Sunshine, that by several other co-hosts that you become very you touched on earlier on the show. You become very what's the word? For example, if you're in a predictions game and you interviewed or became, but very biased. That's what, towards the fighters you've met, known, interviews. They're your boys, So if you interviewed, say, fucking Johnny Hendricks, he was facing Hector Lombard. Hector Lombard was gonna win, but Johnny Hendricks is your boy. You interviewed him, you met him, you talked, you like him. You'd say no, Johnny Hendricks is gonna win because he's my boy.
I would. That's not. I mean, and I'm the first to admit that. Like, I totally am biased, and I think I've admitted it before. I'm super biased when it comes to some of my picks. Some of them I'm not. Like, some of them I've never met Elias Theodoro, never met Cesar Ferreira. I had to pick between the two. I'm gonna go with the guy with the better hair. I'm just saying, But like, there are certain fights, like the Bilal Muhammad Randy Browne fight. Like, I've had Bilal on my show. I've known Bilal since he was in Titan. I've seen the guy come up. What am I supposed to say? No, I'm not going to go for him like that. I'm as biased as I am. You have to flip the coin. I'm a super loyal friend if you ever fight in the UFC. You know what I'm
there
saying?
we go. There we there. So there's your words back to your detractors. They were not detractors. We're only messing around. Then we had a Gavin Tucker versus Sam Cecilia in a featherweight action. I really enjoyed this. Tucker
Yeah, it was
was
good.
in a class of his own. I reckon again he should have called out someone in the top 15.
It's his first fight, in the UFC. Like, he's got some
Exactly.
time,
The more reason. Leave an impact, isn't it? You go out there, you boom, and look, I'm the man. I'll prove it to you right now. Get me someone from that top 15 in this cage. Next pay-per-view, I don't care when it is. I will end him. I'll end his career. Just let me have this chance. Anyone from that top 15, you, Dana White, can pick any one of those losers, and I will get in the ring, cage, sorry, in the fucking wrestling promo. It's as simple as that. And
I get it, but he's not Jared Brooks, right? So Jared Brooks would have done some shit like that. Gavin Tucker is Gavin Tucker, and Gavin Tucker, I think, he's still trying to find him. He's still trying to find his own groove. He's a guy, man, that took a couple of years off of MMA. I think from like 2013 to 2015 to go to college. So I think he's a real methodical fighter. Obviously, you see the way he fights; it's like no one else. So yeah, man, I think he's just real more methodical, and I think he's just like a typical fighter. They win a fight, and they're just, I don't say overwhelmed by the lights, but they just want to embrace it. They don't want to do too much else. If he doesn't do it his next few fights, then okay, Houston, we got a problem, but. For right now, it's okay. I was okay with his performance, and I think he was too, man. And I think this is a great performance. If he would have got a knockout, maybe it would have been different. If he would have got a finish, maybe he would have.
Yeah, maybe you're right there. Maybe you're right there. Because maybe whoever's making the matches, who makes the fights? Is it because I get confused because I know someone's bought them and now they're changing loads of positions around. Because I know Dana White was president. Is he still president? Because I remember talks of him. Not being there.
He owned or still owns. I think like it's something rounded off to 10% of UFC. So when UFC was sold, he still is part owner of it right now. But he also made, so it's sold for $4 billion. So he made 10% off of that. So something like $390 million, $400 million, something in that neighborhood. He made but that's separate. He doesn't have anything to do with the matchmaking. The matchmaking, as of last year, was done by Sean Shelby, who did a lot of the lighter weight guys and the girls, and then Joe Silva. Joe Silva retired, still set up some of the fights. I think one of the last fights he set up was some of the fights on UFC 208. But right now, there's a guy from Texas who was with Legacy Fighting. He was a matchmaker for them. His name is Mick Maynard, and Mick Maynard has now taken over for that Joe Silva. I would say for Joe Silva. Sean Shelby is now Joe Silva, and Mick Maynard is now the Sean Shelby. Wow, that's a tongue twister there. So right now, Sean Shelby is the more established guy, so he's going to handle a lot of them. Mick Maynard, he picks some of the fights, and Sean Shelby's showing him, okay, here's the ropes. And we're gonna tag team the ship.
Awesome. I always just gathered Dana White because of the looking for a fight series, which is fucking awesome, and other stuff like that. I just assumed that because he's the president, he'd be the one to make the fights, but he just gets to sit there, enjoy them, and get paid to do it. What a lucky man!
Basically it.
Lucky fucker. He lives the dream. He is called living the dream. He is Mr. Dana White. But at least,
I'm okay with that.
At least it's 10%. So he'll still be making profit on top of that. $390 million. That's his kids' college sorted, university sorted, his mortgage, his kids' mortgage, his grandkids' mortgage.
Man, he's buying racks on racks, stacks on stacks, children on children. He got money for everything he wants ever of all time. There's never going to be enough kids, enough things that they want that's going to spend all the money he's going to make. I guarantee that. Oh yeah,
you wouldn't be able to spend no. Unless you went on, I guess if you went on really long holidays, maybe like a few times a year, you could get through quite a bit. But
even then,
anyway.
that's just sell money. That's not the money he makes per year, right? Like
Oh
that's,
yeah, true. That's just so money. Yeah.
you know, I'm sure he's paying himself nicely, you know. I'm sure he's got salary, so we don't even know if he's even touched that, you know, like he might not even need to.
Mate, if he puts that in the bank, leaves it for 10 years, the amount of interest he'll get on that. So say he gets 10% interest per year in his bank of 390 million. There you go. There's another 39 million, and he does that for 10 years. He's got himself a fucking $500 million in his bank by
Yeah,
the time he retires.
easy peasy right there, man.
Made man for life. Fair play to him, though. Then we had Johnny Hendricks versus Hector Lombard, middleweight fight. Hendricks got the win, 29-28. Hendricks was very pumped and motivated for his new weight class for sure, post fight anyway.
It was interesting. He was, man, but I didn't see the spunk out of him. Oh, that's weird to say.
sorry. Speaking of spunk, did you see the knee by Lombard straight to the bollocks, and they showed this brutal slow motion shot of it? Oh, it was brutal. Oh, I've had nightmares of that ever since I watched it. That was brutal.
Yeah, it was a rough one, man. Especially coming from just a walking muscle like Hector Lombard, like just a leg kick coming from him. Just, oh my God, like one of my balls would have been crushed. Maybe both. Maybe I don't know, man. But I don't even want to think about that. But Johnny really woke up in the second half of this fight. Like for me, like I saw him in the first round. I gave it to Lombard, but he really like started just finding the zone where he was hitting Lombard from the outside. He was landing that knee. Oh man, that was a thing of beauty. Like that was old classic Johnny when Johnny fought GSP. Just that knee straight up the middle, finding openings, really finding a home, really balancing, like starting to be like, I don't know, like I was by the time the second round happened, I was just like, yeah, Johnny's gonna take this. And like that was one of my predictions. It was like, it's either gonna be Hector in the first round or it's gonna be Johnny taking it to decision. And man, Johnny ate some hits, Johnny gave some hits. And I like the Johnny that we saw from the second, like halfway through the second round, all the way to the third. He just started feeling, and I think even in the post press conference, he's like, I found my groove back. I started, feeling, flowy. I started feeling in the zone. I'm like, hello, where the fuck have you been? Welcome to the world. Hello, Johnny Hendricks. So I hope he can keep this up, man. He's a really good guy, and yeah, I was happy to see him get that win.
Agreed. And then we had Derrick Lewis and Travis Browne in the main event. Second round, a big right hand from Lewis, and then he just gets on top of Browne. He beats the shit out of him until the referee stops. Some say a very late decision from right. Think about this. Okay, so when Lewis was battering the crap out of Browne when they were on the cage, Browne physically shuts ref, right, don't stop it, and then quickly runs off. He shouts, don't stop it, and quickly walks off. Yeah. Okay, so the referee's thinking, okay, he really doesn't want me to stop this. Okay, he wants to take these punches. Okay, so now when Lewis has got him on the floor, he's punching. Maybe he left it a bit too long because he didn't want Browne to be PO'd at him because he told him earlier not to stop the fight when he was going to. You could see he was going to jump in there, but he shouts, no, don't, and quickly moves out the way. So maybe that ref's thinking, okay, he's willing to take a few more punches because he really doesn't want to lose this when he's on the floor. Okay, maybe it was one too many. But the guy's human. He can make mistakes. Go on.
I saw today. I like where you're going. And Mario Yama up until I think it come out in the last 24 hours, and it actually talked about, it's like, hey, like I was 2 punches dismissed from any of the fight. I was 2 punches late. So he's talking about, he should have ended it 2 punches before, we saw that fight end. And I think that's really admirable because we never see shit like that in MMA. We never see the ref say, I fucked up, my bad. We just don't see that. And so I think this was just a call where Yamasaki, it was Yamasaki, Mario Yamasaki. It was just a call for him where he was just a little too late. And I don't know. I think up until today, I had the mindset, yeah, it could have been Travis Browne saying, yeah, hey, ref, I'm good. But nah, man, when you have the ref saying, my bad, like, I'm going to take him for his word, you know?
Yeah, I didn't realize he tweeted. I need to follow all these because I have a few of them followed. I need to follow all of them.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have known about this. I listen to just all I do all week is just listen to MMA podcasts. I listen to yours, of course, anytime Keith, Kyle are on, even the one from Monday. But it was on. It was a headline brought up on the Big Brown Breakdown with Brendan Schaub, Fighter and the Kid podcast, and they had talked about this. And then I think I saw like an article like MMA Fighting or MMA Mania or some shit like that, where Yamasaki he gave some interview to somebody and talked about like, you know, how he, you know, basically stopped the fight a little too late, you know.
What did he say about it? Did he just say, "Look, it was my bad. I'm human. I make mistakes. I apologize."
It was something equivalent to that. Yeah, it was not off base of that. I don't remember the exact quote, but it was my mistake. You know, the fight should have ended two punches prior. I just didn't get in there in time, you know, and it was, you know, my mistake. I think it went on too long type thing. So, again, that's still admirable because you see
he didn't have to do
bad
that.
calls. Yeah, you didn't have to. You see bad calls all the time, and the ref's like, no, that was the right call. You know, it's like, but was it for real? So, you know, kudos to Yamasaki, man.
He was just lucky Joe Rogan wasn't on commentary because the way he was ranting, on those guys at 208, he might have jumped in the cage and gave him a jab.
For real, he'd have gone in there, spin and kick somebody in their head and shit. You know, who knows, man.
Oh, that would have been absolutely hysterical. And I know you're a busy bee right now. I've got to skedaddle off to your interview shortly. I can see the time. You requested for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We went 45 minutes.
All good, man.
Anything?
I was gonna say, yeah, we could do another 5 minutes or so. Anything you want to bring up or talk about, or?
Well, I've talked about what I want to talk about now. So now you could ask your questions away for the last few minutes. We'll flip the switch.
Flip the switch on me. I'm gonna interview you. Yeah, no, I was just, I would have rather paid. Because this was just way fucking more exciting. I was way more happy with this card, and yeah, I think everybody's hoping 209 is the same way as this one. Yeah, man. I mean, I was just really happy about this card from top to bottom. Even the prelims didn't disappoint at all on this one. So shout outs to UFC for doing this one right, man. Yeah, I was excited about it.
I'm excited for 209, and next week it's going to be preview week. So again, I'm going to get the old book out, and then I'm going to take all 5 or 4, however many I have on predictions, and then I'm going to compare them, and then I'm going to place the bet at the end of the week. And let's just hope I make some money this. I made money last time. I spent $10 or £10. Speak to Americans too much. I put £10 in my paddy power, and I left with £12.64 in my paddy power. So it wasn't too bad. I didn't lose money.
Right.
I won £2.64, but it's better than losing money, isn't it? I lost on. I went with my gut instead of my heart, not my heart instead of my brain. I went with Derrick Brunson because I watched some video packages and I was like, Brunson's the man, and I got screwed out of money. I got screwed out of fucking money. Brunson beat the fuck out of him. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. That is pure bullshit. I'm owed money. Paddy Power should send me money right now. So I would have been up to £15. I would have been up to £15, and that nearly halved added on to the actual thing. What can I do about it? But promote yourself before you can answer that and then go on to promote yourself before you wrap this one up.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was going to say, I didn't think Brunson was going to win that fight. Just, I'm surprised he did as well as he did. Do I agree with the decision? I mean, I was happy about the decision. Anderson Silva snake charmed his way into that decision. You have to understand, man, you're just getting into the sport, but Anderson Silva, no matter where he walks, has a mystique about him that's never going to go away. And it's almost like you have to beat the mystique off of him if you want to win a decision against him. You have to decisively do something to beat him, like Michael Bisping did by knocking him down, 2-3 times, clearly outpointing him, to win a decision. Derrick Brunson didn't do any of that shit during this fight. And Derrick Brunson got style pointed on. Like Anderson Silva just kind of was joking around. And the judges, I like to put it like this, man. Anderson Silva is the snake charmer. The judges are the snakes. And unless you're doing something to break the snake charmer's rhythm, you're going to lose. And that's exactly what happened. And I knew I kind of had this feeling it was going to happen. I interviewed Derrick Brunson last year, and he told me, his favorite fighter of all time was Anderson Silva. And anytime you see fights like that where like, oh, I'm going to fight my favorite fighter, sometimes it doesn't end that well. Like Pat Barry, Mirko Krokop, like he just got starstruck and then lost. This is another clear example. But yeah, man, it was a weird decision, but I'm happy that Silva got it, man. But yeah, myself, Loaded Joe's MMA podcast. Check us out. Facebook, Stitcher, iTunes. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. We put up 2-3 shows a week. And then you can find me here talking some more shit with LK. And if you guys are on Facebook, look up the Loaded Joe's MMA community. We're always adding fans, fighters, promoters, podcast hosts, and just trying to elevate everybody else's game. So if anybody wants to send me a message, talk some shit, or add me, you know where to find me. Loaded Joe's MMA podcast. You can find me on Twitter, Money Blake Weather.
MMA fans are so much better than fucking pro wrestling fans. I'll tell you that now. You see, there wouldn't be this community. If your community group you ran, was a wrestling group, it would have been this. It would have been like this. It would have been, oh, you can't come on my show. You don't have enough views. I don't gain anything from coming on your show. You don't gain anything from coming on my show. Why should I do a show with you? Do I gain anything from it? No, you just help each other out. No, I don't gain anything from it, do you? I was like, oh my fuck. Like when I started, I was like, yeah, come on, let me jump on. Come on, let me jump on. I can help. I can be a coach. I was like, I don't need you. Like, fuck you. Like literally, they are scum of the earth. Like they are scum of the earth. Like it's a horrible thing to say. And I know this is for the past like 6 years, it's been exclusively to pro wrestling, but I'm damn saying it now. I can tell when I look at those comments which one of those watch both MMA and pro wrestling, because you can tell. You can just tell they're civil.
Right.
Like they'll be like I'm blocked from by half the people because they're like, oh well, you said Monday Night Raw is bad. You're a liar. It's like, what? No, it is bad. Watch it. It's like, no, it's amazing. Like, watch it. Like if you don't think it's bad, make your own show and say why it's good, and then send it to me.
Right.
I don't want to go on a rant about pro wrestling because I'll lose 9/10 of the subscriptions. So with that in mind, appreciate you coming on. Check out the Joe's Loaded MMA. Or be part of that Facebook group. It's always active. I always get my notifications buzzing off. It's like I'm at work. It's like, oh shit, I better put it on silent. But no, I appreciate you coming on. Go. Good luck with your interview. Who are you interviewing next? So you can give a cheek little, unless it's a surprise. You give a cheek little plug.
Nah, yeah. It's his name is Rick Nuno. He's just he's an MMA fighter and a boxer, and he's coming back to MMA. So yeah, it's gonna be nice talking. I love talking boxing. I love talking MMA. So just nice regional guy out of the Northeast, and I'll post it up later on. You'll see we have some fun, and yeah, man, I'm excited to talk to him.
Awesome. Well, if you like talking boxing, you'd like talking to my granddad. I fucking despise that sport. Unbelievable. Anyway, appreciate everyone watching live. Appreciate everyone watching post live. Appreciate everyone watching on iTunes and Stitcher. That in mind, I'm a tired little Englishman. I finished my tea, so it's time to pack up and go to bed. That in mind, stay safe, everyone. Stay well. We'll both be catching your asses down the line.